All right, gentlemen, it's 2:05. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, today will be Companion Roberts. I'm Companion Randall. I'm from Mount Moriah, number 4 here in San Diego. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Companion Roberts. And again, for those that just come on, there's a bit of housekeeping. Please, everybody mute your mic while the speaker brings the message today. Hear ye him.
Good afternoon, companions. I am Companion Darren L. Roberts Sr. I am a part of Mount Moriah, number 4, the Royal Arch chapter here in San Diego, and I will be doing the 7th degree lecture today. All right, next slide, sir. All right, agenda, we're going to start with the introduction. I'll be talking about the moral of the 7th degree. I'll be going into the Master of the Veils, the working tools, the importance of number 7, the Ark of the Covenant, and I'll be ending with the Brazen Serpent / Triple Top. Next slide, please. I pulled from Exodus, the 3rd chapter, 14th verse. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. So basically, to break this down, here God talks about, and he uses the word that he also uses in his verse to identify himself as I am, Hebrew term, Yah. And it also can be translated to I will be. So basically in this verse, God is assuming or assuring Moses of his faithful presence as he commissions him to serve as a vessel of salvation for Israel and judgment against Egypt. Next slide, please. All right, the moral of the 7th degree. The degree of the Holy Royal Arch Mason is indescribably more august, sublime, and important than all the degrees which precede it. This degree is the summit and perfection of ancient craft, symbolic masonry. It impresses on our minds a belief in God, the supreme being without beginning of days, totally existent, all-encompassing, and has no end of days or years. This degree reminds us of the reverence due to ID's holy name. It brings us also to light many essentials of the craft which were, for a period of 470 years, buried in darkness, and without a knowledge of which the Masonic character that cannot be complete. So basically, in a nutshell, gentlemen, you have your first 3 degrees with the Blue House. Now, you all know as well as I do, some of you, when we switch over to the York Rite, you learn there's a lot more deeper meaning in terms of biblical references and biblical stories. Just to add, next slide, please. All right, during this degree, some mention of the building of the second temple, which was called the Temple of God. Unlike the 6th degree, going back to the 6th degree, it talked about the building and the destroying of Solomon's temple. Here in the 7th degree, it talks about Zerubbabel, which this degree is dedicated to. And there again, the path for this degree is I am that I am, but it talks about Zerubbabel, how he took charge and how he led to the construction of the second temple, which was called the God's house. Now, this picture right here, I have a picture right here of Cyrus the Great, which is King Cyrus of Persia. So basically, King Cyrus, he was ultimately the one that gave Zerubbabel permission to start the construction of the second temple. And also Zerubbabel was a descendant of King David. If you read Chronicles 1, 3rd chapter, 1 verse and 19 verse, and also if you look at the Israelite dynasty, this explains all of this. But Zerubbabel was basically with a large group of Jews that went back to Jerusalem after their 70 years exile in Babylon. Now, some people might not understand this, but just to go a little bit deeper, Zerubbabel name, it means Babylon. Now, was he born in Babylon? Some think he was born in Babylon. Well, some doesn't think he was born in Babylon. But his name means seed of Babylon or born in Babylon, which may seem like a derogatory biblical name. Just as Abraham the Iraqi was sent by the Lord to found a nation in Israel in which he had never been before. So the same instance with Zerubbabel. And also Zerubbabel was considered the governor of Judah. Next slide, please. All right, let's get into the Royal Arch, the Master of the Veils. And basically, these are the 4 principal tribes of the children of Israel. Next slide, please. First master of the veil. We'll start with the tribe Dan. Emblem is the eagle, which denotes swiftness. Words, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Sign and imitation of that given by the Lord unto Moses when he commanded him to cast his rod on the ground. And that will be the first veil. Second veil, please. Second veil, tribe is Reuben. Emblem, man, denotes intelligence. Words, Moses, Eolab, and Bezalel. Sign and imitation of that given by the Lord unto Moses when he commanded him to put his hand into his bosom. Now there again, when he cast his hand into his bosom, what was he showing? What sign was he showing? He was showing a sign of leprosy. Moving on to the third veil, please. Master of the third veil. We have the ox. The tribe, Ephraim, denotes patience. Words, Joshua, Zerubbabel, and Haggai. A sign and imitation of that given by him unto Moses when he commanded him to pour water onto dry land. Now, if we can get to the fourth veil, now this is a little different. This is the royal arch captain. Now, the royal arch captain demands the words, signs, and words of explanation of the master of the third veil, along with the signet, prior to inform the council of their presence. All right? And just so everybody know, that signet that he was requiring, that signet represented truth or denoted truth. The tribe was Judah, the emblem, lion, and it denoted courage. Those are your four veils. Next slide, please. All right, moving on to the Royal Arch degree diagram. And I referenced this, page 129 of the Royal Arch ritual. As you see here, you have the sentinel and you have the four veils. You have an altar in the west, and you have the incense altar. You have the captain of the host and the principal sojourner. All right. You also have the high priest, the excellent high priest, who represents Joshua, the first high priest of the Jews after return from the Babylonian captivity. All right. To his right, you have the king, whose title is excellent, and he represents Prince of Judah, who was the leader of the first colony of Jews that returned from the Babylonian captivity to rebuild the temple that we were talking about. Next on the left, you have scribe. You have who's also excellent, and he represents Haggai, the prophet. Now moving on to the principal sojourner, who represents the leader of the party of Jews who came to Jerusalem to assist in rebuilding the temple. Also, you have the royal arch captain. He represents the captain of the king's guard. Now, when you open up the house for the Royal Arch, once you open, just to share it, everybody, you have I believe it's the captain of the captain of the host and the Royal Arch captain. They will actually leave the east and go west. One will take the senior warden seat, and the other one will take the junior deacon seat. All right, and then once they close, they will move back to their respective places. Okay, and then the direction of travel. During this time, you'll be traveling from Babylon to Jerusalem. All right, and there again, here's just a rough diagram of how the Royal Arch for the Royal Arch degree is set up. Next slide, good sir. All right, let's get into these 7th degree working tools. All right, the crow that you have here is used by operative masons to raise things of great weight and bulk. The pickaxe, which is this one, is to loosen the soil and prepare it for digging, and the spade to remove the rubbish. But the Royal Arch Mason is emblematically taught to use them for more noble purposes. He is reminded it is his sacred duty to lift from his mind the heavy weight and passions and prejudices which encumber his progress toward virtue, loosening the hold which long habits of sin and folly have had upon his disposition, and removing the rubbish of vice and ignorance which prevents him from beholding that eternal foundation of truth and wisdom upon which he is to erect the spiritual and moral temple of his second life. Okay, just to break this down a little bit. So basically, when I first read this, I kind of it kind of took me back to Blue Lodge. And you have your working tools. And I kind of thought about the 24-inch gauge and how it had said basically you need to divine your time. Here, talking about the working tools, it's pretty much up to us at the end of the day, where if we want to take on negative challenges or just omit the negative and be positive. So that's pretty much my generalization of the summary for the working tools. Now, let's get into the number 7. The number 7 for this degree is really powerful pertaining to the Royal Arch. The number 7 itself is a powerful figure in both the Bible and Freemasonry. 7th degree, you have the 7th degree in the York Rite. There's 7 days in a week. There were 7 days in the story of creation and 7 ancient planets. Indeed, the number 7 was closely associated with divine perfection and completion. For example, we have Joseph's interpretation of the Pharaoh's dream for 7 years, followed by 7 years, pertaining to Genesis 41, 1 through 32nd chapter. All right. And to most of us, we always go back to think about this being the symbol and amount of time that it took to build King Solomon temple there again, which was built in 7 years. So just to relate on the number 7. Next slide, please. All right. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant was the sacred symbol of divine presence among the children of Israel, so long as they were obedient to the voice of God. And may we so walk before him in the holiness of life, that this copy of the Ark may be a sure symbol of his presence. All right, just to expound on this covenant of Ark for a little bit, you do have contents of the Ark. You have the pot of manna, you have the rod, Aaron's rod, and you also have the book of law. Okay, the pot of manna, which Moses by divine command laid up in the middle of the Ark as a memorial of the miraculous manner in which the children of Israel were supplied with these articles of food for 40 years in the wilderness. All right, let's go to Aaron's rod. Aaron's rod budded, blossomed, and yielded almonds in a single night, which laid up before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation. All right, the scroll / Ark of the Covenant itself. The Ark of the Covenant was the sacred symbol of divine presence. Okay, and just to go to the book of law, it is the record of the revealed will and is the sacrament and symbol of the living word of God, whose all things were made by. Next slide. Now let's talk about the brazen serpent and the triple tau. All right, just to talk about a little bit about the brazen serpent. In this context, the Hebrew tau or tav, T-A-V, is more pertinent. The 22nd path of the tree of life links Malkuth or earth to Yesod or the astral, and to attain that level, you must pass through a veil, the veils that we talked about. Another name for Yesod is foundation, and this is what is being restored and rebuilt in the story of the Royal Arch degree. It is also considered to represent a cross, not the Christian one with 4 arms, but the T-shaped cross Moses erected in the desert, bearing the brazen serpent, Nehushtan. Now, if you look over to your right, we have the triple tau, which is on our red and white apron for the York Rite. The triple tau and the equilateral triangle, they're pretty much important insignias for all Royal Arch Masons. And you'll see them on letterheads, emblems, aprons, and so forth. The triple tau is literally combined with 3, and the tau being the 19th letter of the Greek alphabet. The triple tau Arch Masonry consists of 3 T's linked in the center joint at their base. Now you heard me mention the equilateral triangles. Now the number 3, let's get into the number 3. The number 3 is important. There are 3 degrees in ancient craft masonry, 3 principal officers of the lodge, 3 supports, 3 ornaments, 3 greater and lesser lights, 3 movable and 3 immovable jewels, 3 principal tenants, 3 rounds of Jacob's ladder, 3 working tools of ancient fellowcraft, 3 principal orders of architecture, 3 important human senses, and 3 ancient grand masters. The secrets of the master mason or master's words were 3 times demanded by 3 ruffians at 3 gates, and the body of our Grand Master Hiram Abiff was buried 3 times. There are 3 and only 3 principal officers who compose the council, the master of the veils. 3 and only 3 can be exalted at the same time. There are 3 deposits in the ark. Our altar is triangular, our jewels are triangular, and only over a triangle formed. By conclusion, all who are exalted to the most sublime degree, particularly by those who are seeking to complete their Masonic education, will appreciate the value of Royal Arch Masonry. It reveals the full light of ancient craft masonry, presenting it as a complete and unified system. No other degrees of Freemasonry are so intimately linked with the Blue Lodge or have so ancient and noble a history. Companions, that has concluded my lecture for the 7th degree, and these are some of my references: the Holy Bible, the Capitular Development Course, my ritual, and also the Holy Royal Arch Manual Instruction Book. And here I have posted, if anybody want to reach out to me, I posted my email and also my cell phone number. Thank you so kindly for having me.
All right, brothers. There you have it. I'll first open it up for questions for the speaker. And then I want to share just one thing, but let's take a few questions for the speaker before we get into the open dialogue that we normally get into at the end. So are there questions for the speaker for today?
I have not so much as a question, but I just want to applaud you, man, for putting that information out, put some clarity on some things, not just for myself, but for others. So I thank you so much for doing that. And the way you put it out there it's understandable and it's well received.
Appreciate you, good sir. Thank you.
And then in the chat, you got a lot of kudos. Well done. Great job. Yeah, definitely good job on that. Any other questions for the speaker?
I do have a question. Thanks, from Ohio. Just curious. First of all, excellent job, Brother Roberts. Appreciate it. I am curious as to an explanation about the altar in the West. I know you probably were waiting for that question, but go right ahead and explain to it.
So that's one of the things I did kind of, look at it. Actually, just to talk about the altar in the West and the altar in the East. When I was doing my research for this lecture, I guess I would say in some parts of the United States, instead of having 2 altars, there are 3 altars. And in doing my research, it talked about how the main altar, I guess if you call it the altar of incense, is divided. One section is actually for the Holy Bible, and another one would be for, I think it mentioned the Holy Bible, the tools, and something else. So, that was one of the things that kind of caught my attention. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I know that was one thing I did notice when I was doing my research.
Good question. Good question. Headbanger, but good question. Any other questions for the speaker of the hour? And then, like I said, I'll share one thing. We'll get in because we got some brothers I would love to hear from today. But yeah, we want to talk a little bit about one of the things. It's for purification and cleansing.
Purification and cleansing.
Yeah, just like the well is empty. If you think about the other house, yeah, purification and cleansing. Good explanation. And I was coming from Convent General, Right Excellent Grand Scribe. And you'll hear from him, I'm sure. Any other questions for the speaker? If not, gentlemen, let's address one thing that I always like to bring up, right? In our Blue House Constitution, let's try to keep it on the level, right? In our Blue House Constitution, in the back of our Blue House Constitution for the state of California, there's 25 ancient landmarks. And everybody, as a master mason on this call, should be familiar with the 25 ancient landmarks. I'd like to bring everyone's attention, especially it being in our Blue House Constitution, to the second landmark, which just happens to be highlighted, right? And then the second landmark is a division of the symbolic degrees into the 3 degrees. It's a landmark that has been better preserved than almost every other or all the other, although even in the mischievous spirit of innovation has left its traces, and by disruption of its conclusion portion from the 3rd degree, a one of uniformity has been created in respect to fine teaching of the Master's Order that the Royal Arch of England, Scotland, Ireland, and America in the high degrees, and France, of Germany, and all the other different in the mode in which they lead the neophyte to the great consumption of all symbolic masonry. In 1813, the Grand Lodge of England vindicated the ancient landmark by solely enacting the ancient craft masonry consisting of the 3 degrees and of the apprentice, fellow craft, and Master Mason's degree to include the Holy Royal Arch, but the disruption has never been healed, and the landmark, although acknowledged in its integrity by all, is still continuously violated. So as we think about that piece, we continuously violate the ancient landmarks, which one of the landmarks said that I think it's the last one, that these landmarks should never be violated. So how is it that we continue to violate these landmarks? And I'll show the timeline, Brody, at the end. But how do we continue to violate these landmarks as Master Masons, but we use them when they're convenient for us? So I just want you to just put that on your subconscious. And now at this time, we'll just open up for general dialogue, and then I'll call on some of our more esteemed brothers toward the end. So just general dialogue, just your thoughts on what the presentation today, what you got from it. But that's most important, because as we walk away from this virtual space, what do we take away from it? And then as we come into next month, right, to bring that back and then to add something else, right? Brick by brick, we want to rebuild this thing. Comments about what you heard today.
All right, since I got on here late, Dr. Randall, I guess I can get on.
Get to it.
I was reading something earlier this week, and it was about the triple tile. And it says the triple tile is simply formed by 3 tiles meeting at their bases. We have already seen the formation of the quadruple tile using the astronomical markers of the solstice and equinoxes along both sides. However, on the jewel of the Royal Arch, the winter solstice is obscured. It is hid by nothing less than the triple tile, which itself is supported by the words wisdom, strength, and beauty. We are told nothing but the key is wanting, which may be taken in its literal sense. Therefore, if we take the quadruple tile and remove the winter solstice as instructed, we are left with the triple tile, which is emblematical of the 7 signs of the zodiac from spring to autumn, which goes back to the number 7 that he was talking about. Knowledge of the secrets of the heavens in ancient times was the key to agriculture and the key to survival itself. The Jewel lecture informs us very clearly. The globe within the compass is emblematic of geometry and astronomy. The compass is issuing from the center of the sun is emblematical of agriculture and represents the influence of that great luminary over the animal and the vegetable kingdom, admonishing us to work while it is yet day and to be careful to perform the allotted task in the proper seasons, so that we may not lose the fruits of our labor. There could be no more important knowledge for the survival of mankind. The triple tile is the symbol of that knowledge. And in conclusion, it says, thou knowest enough if thou can comprehend these things. So just something to add on to what he talked about when it came to the triple tile and the number 7.
Okay. So now let me, in my LA education, I heard you say geometry and astrology, right? And as we think about the 7 liberal arts of science, again, always equate, how can we equate it to symbolic masonry, which is interlinked, and which I'll show you. And this is definitely from the 2nd degree. But how is it equated, right? What is the equation? So you guys see the timeline of masonry, Freemasonry. We go from entered apprentice, fellowcraft, right? Mark master degree. Because what happens in the Mark master degree? We talked about this a few months back. When you come into the Mark master degree, you're what? You're dressed as a fellowcraft. And we just saw the division of the 2nd landmark, or the division of symbolic masonry from Royal Arch masonry. But then it's funny that you go right into the select master's degree. And if you go into, once you get into the select master's degree, talked about the Ark of Covenant. And the Ark of Covenant was buried, right? And it had keys, certain figures, certain things to lead the children of Israel out of that Babylonian captivity. If they would ever be lost and forget their mother tongue, there were certain things in the Ark of Covenant that would help them recover these things, namely the lost word, or the actual word. Because in your Blue House Lodge, again, I always equate it back, you get a substitute word. We go from there to the Royal Master's degree. Now we think about just that piece in the Royal Master's degree. Before we get to the Master Mason's degree, ask the average Mason that's not in New York, right? What's the Sanctum Sanctorum of the Holy of Holies? And they say it at the opening of their lodge each time. But what is it? Where was it located? In King Solomon's Temple. And it's King Solomon's Temple. What happened in the Sanctum Sanctorum? How did you ascend through the 9 arches and apartments? Okay, all things to think about. We go from there to mark a most excellent master's degree, which is a pivot degree, like we talked about last month, from Old Testament to New Testament, or we'll say from symbolic to Royal Arch. Then super excellent master, Royal Arch, and then into Knights Templar. So again, it's a lot, gentlemen, to unpack. But again, what are your thoughts? We got some deep thinkers on here. Steve Witherspoon, you're gonna have to wait to the end, because I know you got mounds of information. But let's hear from some of these other brothers. Again, we're gonna start unpacking some real deep information, and we're gonna always equate it back to the symbolic lodge. But I want to hear from some of you deep philosophical thinkers on the topics today.
Look, I'll just send you another stack of books that I find after we get done.
I'm with it, man, and I sent them right out. I always send transcripts after this. Anybody got any other thoughts? I know we got some other brothers on here. I would love to hear from some other brothers, especially that not so much in the Royal Arts degree, that are not in the York Rite. What you heard today, what did you think?
Man, it's very enlightening. Like, I don't really know a lot about the York, right? So learn about the bells and all that, just, the 7th degree, how important that is. I'm always appreciative for the knowledge. So I thank y'all, brothers.
Okay. My deep thinking, because I want to, we don't want to talk today. It's Sunday. Y'all overwhelmed by the 20 plus win by the USA basketball team. Y'all still in awe about it. My main man Andrew, man, what you thought today, bro? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, feel free to.
Brother Harris, what was your thoughts? Yeah, please.
Oh my goodness, this is interesting. Yeah, I just came into the Royal Arts, so this is very new to me, and I'm learning, and I'm reading, and I'm going back through my details, and this is very informative. So I have a long journey to get and carry and to walk. So this right here is opening up that portal, and you can best believe I'm gonna get that shovel and I'm gonna start digging. That's what they're talking about.
Dig, my brother, dig, right? Use that pickaxe, right? To build that spiritual ornamental edifice, to really build that second temple, right? You were lost 470 years. Let's rebuild that second temple.
Absolutely. That's right.
You and I are going to be talking a lot anyway, so we good.
And that's right.
We good. We good. Anybody else? All right, let's do this. Dr. Willis, I'd love to hear from you. I'll let him introduce himself since this is informal. We're not going to do any protocol stuff here, but Dr. Willis, go ahead, sir.
Outstanding. I appreciate it. What's going on, bro? Hey, Junior, it's always a pleasure to see the brothers in California and all throughout the world. Know most of y'all. Y'all know me and Sean. Had an opportunity vote of the craft to serve as the Grand King for the General Conference for the ensuing years. So I appreciate it, my brothers. I hope to see y'all soon. To the brothers that put together this great training again, it's always a pleasure to see such things that are so enlightening to keep us go ahead on and growing and reverting back. And when you're talking about those threes, I always like to mention that even with the three that were walking bells, as you look at it, the 3 sons of Noah, right? When you're looking at Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and then you're looking at Moses, Oholiab, and Bezalel, which were the 3 artificers, if you will, of the 3 arks that Raul was mentioning. So you had the Ark of the Covenant, you had Noah's Ark, and then you had the divine and another ark, a 3rd ark, right? So that's all just wonderful to see and hear. Again, it's always a pleasure, sir. And with that, I yield to these outstanding folks on the training. I'm just happy to be here and hang out.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Mr. Estelle, sir, love to hear from you and your perspective.
Well, I've been around a long time, about 47 years. And it's always interesting when you get on these type of settings to hear the different perspectives of different jurisdictions. I think the message was very enlightening. That's why I asked the question about the altar. As you mentioned, in different jurisdictions, you have different settings. So I wanted just a little bit of explanation from him to help me understand, because we don't have an altar in the West. We have one altar that sits in the middle of the room. That's it. Now, in another house, I do recall an altar being set for cleansing in the consistory as well as in the shrine, but I'm not familiar with having that in the Royal Arts. So that was interesting. But again, I always appreciate all that you continue to give us, the Royal, and we just appreciate all that you continue.
Yes, sir. No, I definitely appreciate you being here. Gita, how do you have your hand up? Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir, Dr. Randall. Greetings, all brothers. I just wanted to add that there's always a historical presence involved in almost everything we do. And when we don't necessarily have time in all our presentations to go into the historical elements outside of this is just like a wetting of your whistle, wet your beak a little bit to get you to go and start to do the research, to find the information, to find out the reasons behind the information, to find out the forefathers and foresetters for the information. A lot of the majority of what happens in the Royal Arch is based on the historical journey of the 12 tribes of Israel after they left Egypt. And then we followed their journey all the way through. And for the 40 years they was in the desert, they set up a tabernacle that had the holiest of holies place as well, along with a lot of other aspects of it. And that it was that tabernacle that was the foundation and basis for King Solomon's temple, and the architecture that they used for the temple was based on that earlier tabernacle. And it follows, and you follow the journey through time. And then when the rebuilding of the temple, interesting aspect, the Babylonians are the ones that took the children of Israel into captivity. It was the Babylonians, and they lived under Babylonian rule. Now, where did the Persians come in? The Persians joined with the Medes, and they overthrew the Babylonian kingdom. So when the king of Persia gave license Zerubbabel to return, one of the main reasons why is because he had just overthrown a power that was the original government that subjugated the children of Israel. So the children of Israel wasn't his enemy. They were more his ally, the enemy of my enemy. It made sense that he would be willing to work with them to return them to where they came from. So I'm just saying, as you go through this journey, just be sure points in time to go back and check the historical record to understand what happened and why, and that leads you into a better understanding of why we do the things that we do in these rituals and et cetera, et cetera. That's all I have. Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
Yes, sir. It just, we think about King Solomon's temple, right? We said it time and time again, it was built in Mount Moriah, Jerusalem, right? And then it was built in the northeast corner. Right? Think about the northeast corner as we think about how we build masonry brick by brick. We think about brothers that come into masonry and they say, I want to be a 33rd degree. Well, you can't get to 33 unless you take step one. I digress. Mr. Griffith, sir, would love to hear from you and your perspective.
Good evening, all. I really enjoyed this lecture series. Matter of fact, when I got on the last one last month, it gave me a whole different outlook on Royal Arch Masonry and some of the other areas of masonry. And I definitely do like the correlation that is definitely being used between the Bible and this August body, because a lot of our brothers feel that we don't have this foundation that's built around the Holy Writ that we have on our altars in every house that we belong to. But I'm just enjoying all the conversation, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time because I don't do a lot of talking, but I definitely do a lot of listening and observing, and I am learning a lot. Thank you, sir.
And for the younger brothers that are on here, that's the most excellent grand high priest, amen. And not, we put a lot of emphasis on different positions in masonry, but brothers are humble enough to be lifetime students. And so that's important, right? And if you think about Royal Arch Masonry, it calls you to be humble if you really sit back, because it's a lot to digest. My main man, Clarence Strahan, next month I told him, I promise y'all, so if y'all get on here early next month, I already promised this man I'm going to have some house music on here because I had some Motown on it there. Go ahead, Clarence.
Greetings, everyone. It's good to see everybody. As always, Dr. Randall, thank you for the invite. I know a lot of people in here. It's good to see everyone. I'm going to start off by saying we all know there are two religious houses in masonry. That's Holy Royal Arch and Chapel Roseport. All right? We know there are two religious houses in masonry. So if we look at it, when you're in Scottish Rite and you're in the Chapel Roseport, it's talking about Royal Arch and Royal Select when you're looking at the degrees and how it translates from one to the other. All right? So let's look at it. We looked at it earlier, it showed the Ark of the Covenant. On top of the Ark of the Covenant, we saw two cherubims, right? So we know cherubims protect places and things. Who was also a cherubim? The enemy of the world, Satan himself. He was a cherubim, right? He was also an archangel. He had, his job was not only to watch over us, but watch over places and things. That's why he was in the Garden of Eden. Right? What did he tell Eve? You most certainly can eat from the tree of life and good and evil. Knowing that she couldn't, right? But she ate, she touched something she wasn't supposed to touch, and then we blamed Adam for, right? Nah. We blame Adam for it because he was the male, right? But technically, our enemy of the world was also there to protect us, deceived us. So we all get deceived all the time by people pretend to be our friends, right? Let's think about it for a second. Let's think about it. So you're looking at that, right? We also talk about the man, the lion, the ox, and the eagle, right? They represent 4 to 12 tribes, right? Who else do they represent? Them 4 archangels. Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. Again, what do? They there to protect us, right? So we go back. I'm not going to talk long. Just think about it. When I say that Lucifer was an archangel. When you look in Revelations, Michael, who was also archangel of lower stature, fought Lucifer, who was an archangel of higher stature. So we surrounded by the Bible and information all the time. So when people say dumb stuff that we devil worshippers and all this foolishness, all we gotta do is tell them you're part of an order that talks about the Bible all the time. Gentlemen, it's good to see you all and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother Harris. Sir, I'd love to hear your perspective. That's Lawrence Harris. Excuse me, because I know there's a couple different Harrises on here.
Okay, first I will thank you, Dr. Randall, for inviting me. I love Masonic education, and I learned a lot every time I attend these meetings of yours. I really enjoy myself. As a companion, Roberts, and you're a jewel that's been hiding from me, brother. Are you in the world and select?
Sir, sir.
The companion Randall, you need to talk to him.
Say less.
You already on it?
Say less.
Okay. All right. Like I said, you keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Get myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Right, actually, Grand Lecturer Donaldson, sir. Right, actually, Grand Lecturer.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for inviting me, Dr. Randall. Also, thank Grand High Priest Trey Ham as well for inviting me. And I'm just kind of overwhelmed right now. Excellent job on the lecture, and you hit it right on the head, saying just like rebuilding brick by brick. That's what we have to do with these bodies, not just the York Right body, all the bodies right now. Just doing these kind of lectures and just giving that knowledge to everybody and just bringing us back and keeping us informed. But great job, Doc. I'm just overwhelmed taking this stuff in. It's just a great thing. And again, thanks for inviting me, sir.
Problem. Mr. Ridley, Ted Ridley, we hear from you, sir.
Yes, sir. And Dr. Randall, appreciate the invite, sir. I had an opportunity to meet you at the grand session and a few other good brothers from California. I know a couple on here, obviously Trey and Dr. Willis, Companion Roberts. Outstanding job, sir. Outstanding job.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to next month's series. For those that are on, past Grand Trustee in the Royal Arch and the current past Grand Commander and the current Vice Special Environment. Indeed.
So, Joyce, enjoy meeting you, enjoy talking to you. Like I said, we'll definitely stay linked up.
Yes, sir.
I'm already going to Maryland in that cold, so y'all gonna get me out of the sunny California weather into that cold. So I might as well make my pilgrimage to DC. It ain't much further.
That's right. We're right here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Mr.
you. I
Vaughn,
appreciate it.
no worries, man. Appreciate you, Mr. Vaughn Davis. Sir, you're in new space. We hear from you, sir.
Hey, brothers. Good morning from Hawaii. It's an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to learning exponentially from everyone here on the call, and count me into every time these are happening. This is amazing. You know, it's iron sharpening iron, and it's the way we should do it. Love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I think I should say I'm from Joseph V. Nichols, Lodge 120.
Yeah, I want to get fired to get in no trouble. You was talking to Raul? Nah. We ain't doing that.
It's a rookie mode over here, man.
All good, man. Rookie bringing most to the table. Mr. Carter, sir, we hear from you.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm traveling. I'm off.
I got you, sir.
I'm in Arkansas.
Oh, you down there? Yeah, you down over there. Carry that. So you broke it, so we'll let you kind of get a little bit better signal toward the end. I'll come back to you. But I appreciate yourself for now. Yeah, we'll come back to you, good sir.
Okay, sir.
All right, appreciate you, Mr. Spoolman. Been a while.
What's going on, Doc? How you doing? Good to see the companions. Jason Fullman, Inland Empire Council in California, chapter, in California, but currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 4 or 5 years. But always good to chime on when there's a digital opportunity. And me and Dr. Randall used to duke it out at a lot of our conclaves and all that good stuff, best chapter council, all that good stuff. So it's just great to see the lectures continuing to go. I just advocate, for you, especially masturbations, to just go further. The York Rite is beautiful, it's special. especially when the degrees are done and full. There's nothing like it. It's something that will just grab you for years to. It's kind of like Star Wars, right? You think you have the complete story, but as Dr. Randall showed us, there's pieces that happen before and after, right? That kind of completes the story. So definitely read. I'll drop a few jewels that I use that are still simple but pack a lot of power, if you will, into the chat. But it's just about being astute and reading. So enjoy the York Right Bodies.
As a matter of fact, one of the references that that you hit me to about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, I'm actually using it for the 4th book, that Hoof Beats of Holiness. That's a jewel. That Hoof Beats of Holiness, man. That's a diamond in the rough right there. They'll find out.
Yeah, or that's the one, man. Good stuff.
Yes, sir. Mr. Burden, our past was actually Grand High Priest, sir.
It's always good to see and hear from good brothers. I enjoyed the lesson. Always refreshes my old brain I got sitting up in this hat rack. But outstanding job.
Sure, again, Danny just got 3 jobs. He don't even know. He got hired 3 different times in one day. He don't even know it, man. You poor dude. It's all good, Mr.
Good evening, good afternoon to some of you guys overseas. But it's always a joy to hear and look and listen to all the youth coming up in masonry, and you guys got it going on, and I appreciate for invite. You invite.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Mr. Cantrez, my man, our newly elected Junior Grand.
Hey, what's going on, brother? I am sorry that I got on a little late, but I'm doing a honeydew list, and I know that's not
And honey, he must have snatched him off the car. Snatched him off the
But I thank God that I'm still able to make the meeting. It is fantastic. Fantastic. I can't wait to the next lesson. It's like one lesson is just better than the other and the other. And I already know I'm going to be doing this most likely to the day I die.
Yeah, we'll build. That's the thing, is we want to build. And again, for those that are new to this form, this digital space, these videos will be edited and added to YouTube on the San Diego York Right Educational Series, so that the brothers can continuously go back and watch them. I'll send the transcripts out afterwards, like I do every month. And anybody that sends me references, I like to send those out too, because again, it's already been said today: iron sharpens iron. Mr. Carl Jones, sir, we hear from you. You muted.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. Like a riff, but that was actually great to be here. I was able to wire through a lot of nothing on out. Well, that's all on it. Like, really proud of our stories about a little time now, 2 years. And then I've been a member of the uproar for a few years now, but again, coming back here today, my first spoiler that with the tech place, so it's had enough of me to get back into the war, and it's gonna start flowing my kind with useful information and theory from yourself. The lecture, I'll say that on that, and all of the conscious is it's comfortable song on it that everyone has a nugget, maybe something bring as much as I can is just like into the table. Will be looking up for. Thanks, sure.
No problem. Mr. Mighty McCoy, then Mr. Corey Clark for the rest of that.
All right, brother. Thanks for letting me tune in and get this education. This is very, very rewarding. It helps remotivate me, at least, as far as the purpose and the guidance, and help you maybe articulate when somebody asks you, what is the Holy Royal Ark about? Why should I join? I'm here in Las Vegas, so I want to hail from the Grand Lodge in Las Vegas, King Solomon Lodge #2, where we're still trying to put together this study group so that we can kind of get the Holy Royal Ark remotivated here. So I want to definitely thank you for sharing this information. It helps me to articulate to the younger brothers that are looking at why should they join the Holy Royal Ark. So I yield my time. Thank you.
Dr. Randall, you're mute.
Yeah, so as you guys can see behind me, where you start, I appreciate you, Mr. McCoy, but where you start, sirs, are not where you're going to finish at. So again, that's in life, that's in everything we do, especially in Royal Arch Masonry. I think Mr. Carter, we had you up next. So.
Can you hear me now?
We got you. We got you.
Okay. I'm coming from Mississippi, and I really do appreciate the invite. I was traveling through Arkansas. I thought they had better cell service, but I guess they don't. But I really enjoyed Dr. Roberts, not Dr. Roberts, Companion Roberts, lecture. And I hope to get on the next call.
Hey, always. These things go out every month. I would definitely send them out consistently. Have been for the last few months. Mr. Madden and then Mr. Casillas. And then we'll just hear a couple more comments. I want to hear from Steve Witherspoon because he and I need to link up on a different level anyway. So Mr. Madden and then Mr. Casillas.
Once again, it was just, mind blown. As you know, I always take notes. Companion Roberts, I sat by you in San Diego at one of the little things, and what intrigued me was you were always humble. Everybody that Dr. Randall, my big bro, always introduced me to, they're always humble. I didn't know you get down like this, but it was just, man, like y'all just took me under y'all wing. Everybody know how I am, and thank you for making me laugh during grand session the way we always do it. Everything make everything fun, and I didn't know you get down like this, and I promise you, I will be back just to listen, and God willing, one day I'll be able to spread the knowledge that you guys are instilling in me to the next generation so we can just keep it going forward. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Casillas, sir. Did she leave us? Mr. Casillas, you still there? You left us? Oh, there you go.
No, I'm still here. I'm kind of torn in between two events, so please excuse me. I'm trying to do my best to absorb as much information as I can. However, I did pay attention. So the thing I have is trust for people, and I have trust in people who I associate myself with. This education, this piece right here is very critical to what I believe in because everybody's backed up by a Bible. It's so instrumental in my upbringing and my foundation. And I want to say that I applaud you for including the Bible in everything that we do because that's how Masonry was founded. I mean, whoever created it, whoever designed this thing, I've always believed that system in play to receive Jesus, whether you believe him or not. And there's a system in place right now that is going to receive him again. He's molding us. God is molding us into being the perfect person that we need to be, even though we haven't attained perfection. But I mean, it bleeds into everything and do everything. It gets into everything. Just like that Bible verse, as the dew of Vermont, the dew that is sick of Vaughn, you know, the mountain of Zion, Lord commanding the blessings even more, right? So that's how we have to be. I mean, we have to get it. We have to get it into everything. And it seems like sometimes we're losing the grasp on some of the little brothers or the brothers who don't have this information. So I urge us to keep taking this information and giving it to everyone else that is not, taking it back to wherever we need to take it back to. And if you need help with that, that's what we are. We have this kind of platform to reach out to each other and get that information. So I really appreciate you for inviting me here and everyone here with so much esteem, because holding each other high esteem, and really appreciate you exposing me to this. So thank you. I know there's some other issues we're going to talk about, and I just don't want to forget about, you know, the dwindling numbers that we have. I hope we can talk about that because I'm really excited to hear about that.
Yeah. So again, just without getting too deep in the weeds, right? We want to keep our family business kind of close to the breast, but we'll say this, right? We've suffered a great attrition, right? A pretty high attrition over the course of the last 8 years, and so 10 years actually. And so as I think about that, one of the things Brother and myself talked about continuously is creating a platform where we can reach out to brothers all over the world. Here we are, right? Look on this call, right? We've reached out to brothers all over the world. We were just talking about this again yesterday to reiterate it. So it's important. It's a blessing, right? And so as we use this platform, we segued it into YouTube. YouTube is forever stagnated in its own virtual space. Brothers can share these with some of the younger brothers in their life because we do need to take on the motto of recruit, reclaim, and retain. I don't care, you know, the old thinking was we don't recruit as mass masons. Well, the numbers would suggest otherwise, right? If we were to do a small SWOT analysis, the degradation would be a weakness. So we do want to just kind of use this platform to all get together from all over the world, just click on our devices and then come in, and then it's been said time and time again, iron sharpens iron. So we're going to keep this thing going. I know Lawrence Harris is going to give me some tasks to do to help keep this thing going in every aspect of masonry. I'm going to continue that as well as in the Knights Templar. It's a few more brothers that I want to hear from, and then just some last parting comments from a few brothers, and then we'll keep it light because we're right at an hour right now. We don't want to take up too much time. Brother Bain, and then Owens, Cummings, and then Adibola.
Definitely outstanding training once again. And if you didn't notice, Darren, you were auditioning for a grand lecturer position. Okay. So you know, when you see something coming from the grand trice, don't be surprised. So,
I got you,
yeah,
sir.
outstanding training as usual. You know, we come here with empty plates and leave with full belly, so to speak, with the knowledge that we gain, and each time is different. So again, good job.
Quinn, did you get out the call? If you're still here.
I'm still here, Dr. Randall. I appreciate you having me. Past Master Roberts, I just want to say outstanding job, and
Just thanks for having me once again. Thank you.
Henry Elsenauer.
Yes, sir. Thank you to Penny Roberts. Fire. Phenomenal class. Thank you. And mentor, Raul.
Thank you, sir.
Likewise, thank you. When we all get together and talk, it's a beautiful thing because, again, the scripture tells us, "What two or more gather in my name, the presence I will be." And I definitely felt it today. So what you brought, Devaney, was phenomenal. Thank you. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Many blessings to all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that wasn't the last one. I think there's one more, right? Let's see. We got one on here that I haven't seen before. Definitely want to give them the opportunity. Mr. Sherman Kelly. So you're a new face.
Yeah, new face. First one today was my first one. Great job. You give us enough to go out and do some research. I appreciate that. There's a lot more to learn. So I will definitely be back. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, everyone on this call. They're trying to keep masonry going. We got to do something because it is dying off. This sparks interest, so we got to get this out.
I got you. Dub C, Mr. Cummings, sir. Appreciate you, sir. Dub C, what's going on? I call him Dub C because he looked like Dub C from Westside Connection. Mr. Cummings, what's up, sir?
Can't hear you. Turn your volume up or check your mic. I don't think your audio is connected.
Who, mine?
No, Will's.
Oh, Will's? Okay.
Nope, still can't hear you.
Okay.
We'll drop the ball at the 1 yard line, huh? Dub C, man, you're supposed to see walk across the 1 yard line, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I'll jump in real quick while I try to figure out this audio.
Yeah, go ahead, B.
Great,
For sure.
Great job today with the with Companion Roberts. Just like you said, Dr. Randall, manifestation. We talked about this 5-6 years ago, coming to this type of platform, and to see this come to fruition with all of these like-minded individuals and collectively have a yearn for the same thing. Our mission is to grow the York right in order to get more light in masonry. As on our mission to rebuild brick by brick, you reminded us of our obligations within that second. This lecture series should be a tool to introduce to young Master Masons or Master Masons inquiring to be Royal Arch Masons to complete that light journey. Goes back to ask, seek, and knock. New Master Masons or Master Masons that's going through the emotions or going through the journey should be asking for petitions to come to these higher houses or pendant bodies. They should be seeking information so they can knock on those doors to gain the information, the access for that light. It's our job, and we're reminded every time we hear an obligation or every time we hear a charge to do that. We're not doing it. We're not doing it effectively, but this platform will have that, I don't know, spark or initiation for those brothers that want to be here to be here. So thank you and great job today, and let's continue this series.
Yes, sir. Challenge for everybody for next month. Again, it's always the fourth Sunday, always at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Pacific. Bring a brother with you and focus on the brothers that are in the symbolic lodge, in the blue house, right? And when we're talking about Royal Arch Masonry, get away from saying you just want to learn the real word, because it's more the Royal Arch Masonry than just a word, than the real word. It's been said time and time again, Royal Arch Masonry is a holy house for a reason. It's biblically stated, and everything is backed by biblical reference. In the blue house, everything is backed by biblical reference. But let's be honest, the third degree is a fictitious degree. Again, that is a longer conversation. It's a made up degree, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, Mr. Witherspoon, sir, I'm gonna give you the floor for a few, and then we're gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna put this tri-tip in the smoker. Let's get it going for Sunday.
Look, I ain't even got nothing. I don't have that much to say to that, man. It's just a pleasure to be here today. I don't always get to fellowship among brothers who like to discuss the intricacies of the ritual. So it's a pleasure to have this opportunity. On behalf of my most excellent Grand High Priest Xavier D. Young Senior, under whom I serve as the Right Excellent Grand Lecturer for the jurisdiction of Arkansas, it's always a pleasure to fellowship with the brothers from California. And eventually I'm gonna get out here to come back home because I was born in LA and come to a session. So that's my new Masonic goal, is to hopefully next year be able to come to California and receive some hospitality, because I get to come, but I don't get to come for this. So that's my new goal next year, is to come and be able to fellowship. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
I got you. All right, sirs. I think we kind of hit everybody. I wanted to really get everybody, because it is important that we hear all these different perspectives, because it's going to reshape our thinking on how, because we think a certain type of way, and then we kind of get bogged down into this is the way it is because we think like this. No, let's really iron sharpens iron. Let's look at all these different perspectives to get a different interpretation of this thing we call masonry. Build it up. Again, challenge is levied. Grab a brother and bring him with you next month. And this will be on YouTube here pretty soon. I'll send out the link once I upload it and edit this video to get some of the background noise and all that stuff out. But I appreciate all you brothers. Looking forward to seeing you next month. Brother Roberts, Companion Roberts, again, congratulations. You just got about 2 or 3 more jobs. Take the pressure off for some of us. And much love to everybody on this call, man. Have a blessed Sunday.
All right.
I'll keep the room open for a few minutes. Brothers just want to socialize.
Dr. Randall,
Sir.
I just got something to say to that Mississippi boy. He talking about Arkansas Tower. That's because his phone don't work.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm coming soon, so I ain't saying nothing about Arkansas. I'll be there soon.
Look, Corey ain't even welcome back to Arkansas.